Hey everyone, welcome back. Today I will be trying out my first full soft pastel art. I have used them before, but for very small sketches and not really something like this, so I took a Domestika course to sort of help me out, so I'm going to be talking about that, but I'm also going to be reviewing these Paul Rubens soft pastels. So there's going to be timestamps in the description to help you guys navigate this video. So Paul Rubens have sent me some of their stuff before to try out, and they've consistently impressed me with what I've tried from them. So even though I wasn't really into soft pastels at the time, and this is really gonna be my first real piece with them, I couldn't wait to try them really. So I looked for soft pastel courses on Domestika, and I did find one that was so helpful. The course is called Expressive Portrait Drawing with Soft Pastels, and it's taught by Chris Gambrill, and it was so helpful. It really opened up my eyes to what soft pastels could do. Usually when I'm trying out a new medium, I like to just dive into it by myself and try to see how I can get comfortable with the medium by myself before I try to look more into the technical things and what I should be really doing with them, the proper ways to handle them. I think the only exceptions to that were with oil pastels, because I know that they could be dangerous when not handled really well, and this one. So I took the Domestika course, and this video, by the way, isn't sponsored, but I did have a video that was sponsored by them. Domestika is just something that I'm really not scared to be sharing, because I just love them so much and I use them a lot. This course is the 5th one that I have taken, and this one is just so beginner friendly, and it's one of the more helpful courses that I have taken when approaching a new medium. There were exercises for us to get to know the medium first. There were tips on how to lay down the pastels, and also made me realize that you could layer with soft pastels. At first I thought it was one of those mediums that you would have to have a bigger set of colors with to really make a full piece, but it really isn't like that. I didn't know that you could layer the colors on top to create a different color, so I was really excited about that. And also by how accommodating a medium soft pastels really are. So it's not as restrictive as other mediums. With it you can go light to dark and also dark to light, which is something that I was really surprised by again. And knowing that really helped me it really just took away a lot of the pressure when working with soft pastels. So when I was laying down these colors, really the only thing I needed to worry about was which colors I would need to choose. It's not like with watercolors where you really need to plan out your piece way ahead of time, because there's a lot of things that you can't get back to. With this I wasn't worried about that, because I knew that I could take my lighter colors and put them on top of the darker colors that I already put on, and know that they would show up. And of course, one of the very great things about soft pastels is how easily they blend. The teacher actually said that there's a bunch of ways that you can blend them without using your fingers, but for his sketches he uses his fingers, and also that's what I did, because I wasn't really too worried about this piece lasting. But also he doesn't really blend that much at all with his artworks, and that was really what was really mind-boggling to me. It's because that there's a lot of expertise that goes into layering your soft pastels and just applying enough pressure that they show up on top of each other without blending each other out. And you can still see the textures in both of those layers while also see the different colors that they have created when they are on top of each other. And so I'm clearly not there yet. You can see me really blending out a lot of these layers. So I don't really think that with my work you can see that much of the textures that you normally associate with soft pastels, unlike with the teachers. But the great thing about the class is that even though I went a different direction than what the teacher did, I was still provided with enough basic knowledge and also guided along the way that I could make this piece on my own without really feeling lost. So now I want to talk about these soft pastels, and this is a really big disclaimer that this review is coming from someone who has not made any soft pastel pieces before this, so take this review with a big grain of salt. There might be some key things that I'm just not looking for because this is my first introduction to the medium, really. So what I really love about this set is the color selection, and the colors in this are so beautiful. I think the colors in the set were selected purposely for portraits. So while I was painting this, it was a joy to basically see every color that I needed to use. There's a lot of colors in here that are very light and vibrant, but it's not just very punchy colors. There's different variations to those light colors, but what I really love are those darker colors. So I love that there's so many colors that would initially on the set, just by eyeing them, look like they would just be black and gray, but when you swatch them out you can see all of the hues to them, and I'm really excited about that. But also I just love how many colors there are in this set. So even though you can mix your own colors with soft pastels, when you're a beginner like me, it was really helpful to have just this many colors to work with. So I didn't really need to mix my colors that much. These pastels are also handmade, so you can see that their shapes aren't completely uniform. I really love the look of them. I think they look very organic and just beautiful, but you might also want to keep that in mind just in case you're more used to straight edges with your soft pastels, that these aren't that. But one of my favorite things about these soft pastels are they're just so strong when I need them to be. So even though I was working on such a big paper, this is actually way bigger than my other pieces. I still needed to break apart some of these pastels to be able to get just these details and stronger lines with them. And it was so satisfying to break them apart without them crumbling, so I could just snap them off and I would still have two very strong pieces with me that I can work with in the future. So I really love that. And also I love this thing. I love this whole set thing that protects the pastels. It's the same with their oil pastels too. So I was really impressed by them. Paul Rubens has just consistently impressed me with the things that I've tried. And I think in one of my videos that I said that I wasn't gonna make that many review videos because I just think they're just such a waste of money. But I think these are a little bit of the exception because these were sent to me. But even though I said that, I'm really glad that I took this time to get to know different mediums, because it really feels like I am surprising myself with the things that I can do with them. And a lot of that has to do with really taking the courses that I needed to. But I'm really happy that I did try these new mediums for myself. One other thing about the teacher is that he has a sculpting background, so you really see these strong shapes in his artworks. He talks about composition and also how he puts importance in the negative shapes that is framing his subject. So I really tried to apply what he told us in the background that I made. In this background in my art that looks kind of haphazard, but it's actually took a bit of thought from me. there was actually a time here where I put fixative right before I put in those finishing details. And it was so hard because I already put so many layers at that point, and I just built up so much of this powdery soft pastels on the paper that when I sprayed the fixative on top, that it just blew some of the dark powders onto my lighter areas. So that was really hard, but thankfully I am able to layer my lighter layers on top of those very dirty looking places, and especially for her face where I really needed to look clean. But aside from that, I really love this process. I love how strong soft pastels is as a medium. I don't know how to explain this, but it feels like it's just not a delicate medium, unlike watercolors and even gouache. It feels like it's coarse and enduring, and these are adjectives that I wouldn't really put into art mediums, but it's a great way for me to describe how I was feeling while I drew this. It actually feels really close to painting, which I think is why I'm comparing it to other wet mediums. But I don't know, I just really love soft pastel so much. I wish that I also had soft pastel pencils. They exist, because I want to be able to get this kind of effect in my sketchbooks, but I know I'm not able to because all of my sketchbooks are just so tiny that it would get hard to do small details with them. But I really enjoyed this process so much. I hope you guys enjoyed watching it too. And yeah, that will be it for this one. Thank you everybody for watching. Thank you to my patrons for supporting me. And to anyone else who made it this far, thank you. And I will be seeing you guys again soon.